Hey, Crass holes, what's up? Today we have the awesome Lisa Ann from Who's Nailin' Palin, and she wrote a new book. She's going to talk to us about her normal sex life, race problems in porn. We're going to answer some fan emails. How do you confess your attraction to a female friend as a dude? And it wouldn't be Crass to Mouth if we didn't talk about anal. So stay tuned, everybody.
You are now checked in to Stand Up New York Labs. Oh, yeah.
You're listening to Crass to Mouth.
The two open micers, please cede to the headliners of this table. Good Lord.
Ever just fucked somebody who wasn't your girlfriend while you were still with a girlfriend? Boom, HPV right up the pussy. Hi, Crass holes. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so excited because today I have Lisa Ann, who you guys might recognize from Race Wars most recently and various other podcasts, but also Who's Nailin' Palin, because somebody was nailing Palin, and that was you.
Yes, I was Palin, and it was quite an experience.
That's so thank you so much, first of all, for being here.
Thanks for reaching out.
It's
you
so
guys
exciting.
have all been such a nice little family to me, and from every time I see you all, everyone's just so warm and awesome, so thank you.
Well, you're kind of warm and awesome. Like you're like very easy to hang out with.
Thanks.
I have like 1,000 questions
Good,
for you.
I love it. I love you a notebook. I'm such a notebook
I
person.
do.
I wish I could use the notes in my phone more, and I do try to not, but I'm a notebook. I like the
don't like
visual.
that.
I like to read. I like to cross it off. I like to go through and see if I missed something.
I like to physically write stuff
And you
because it
remember
like
it.
activates my
I
brain. Do you know what I
agree
mean?
with you.
I think it's sad that they're trying to take handwriting out of schools because it's a brain activator.
Not only that, you're not going to write letters, and I still try to write letters once a month to my
That's
friends
sweet.
and family, and it's just something that makes you sit down, put some positive thoughts on paper, and take it to the mailbox and send it. And there's something very gratifying in knowing that you did it, and then a day goes by and you forget, and then they get it 2 days later and they hit you up, and it's just like it's a fun whole process. And we used to have pen pals when I was a kid. You all got a pen pal in school from a different country. That was like the coolest thing.
No, it was the shit. And then you had to wait. There was like suspense. Now, if somebody doesn't email you back right away, they're a piece of shit. Do you know
and
what I
you're
mean?
texting and calling.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I just turned my red receipts on because I'm like, I'm going to live like this, honestly. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, everybody damn well knows that I got the text right when you sent it. You
Right.
know that.
Yes.
So let's just be honest. It says red.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't need to be worrying about, does this person know I checked the message? I'm not there.
No, you already know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do have a notebook because I'm like a homeworky nerd, but I have so many questions for you. Mostly because I've met you before, so I know, not you per se, but like your kind of energy. Do you know what I mean?
And you met me the very first time dressed as Sarah Palin, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, that's right. And
you were at the Comedy Club for Halloween. And that
That's
was
right.
the first time we met, right?
Yes.
So you meet me the first time kind of in what I call my drag.
Right.
and it's such a fun part of, the history of me. And I love when people still get to see it because I don't do it that often. And here I am. I have normal conversations with people. And then I'll go home and think, I was having a normal conversation with her dressed as Palin. It's so weird.
It was like you dressed up as you for Halloween.
Yes.
It's so meta. Here's the most like obvious question. If people get into porn now, how can they make money given that porn is just free and all over the internet? Like I've seen your videos just like hopping around X videos without paying for it.
It's changed the dynamic of where's the money coming from. And there's a great book I always advise people to read, and it's called Who Moved My Cheese? And it's about an hour-long book for you to read, about 80 pages. And it talks about these 3 mice, and they're all running through this maze, and they're all trying to find the cheese, and it gets moved. And one mice just continues to work towards finding it. The other one hems and haws. The other one gets nothing. The reality is, as a star in the business, you're more well-known than ever. So if you want to have a merchandise store and sell items, if you want to do personal appearance, even nightclubs will pay us a stupid amount of money to go and stand there, and most of the girls go and drink. I stand there and take photos with everybody. So that's just my thing.
So it's almost a given that people are going to watch you fuck for free.
Yeah,
and then all this other stuff is
what?
how you make a living.
True, because when it happened, I was able to say, okay, this is the reality I'm faced with right now, but I still want to be involved in the business, and I have to find a way to make it still profit. And that's when I said, I'm going to go back to being a full-time feature dancer. dancer. And I feature danced about 45 to 47 weekends a year from 2008 until I retired last December.
So, but for you, when you say you retired, that means having sex on camera, but you still direct, is that right?
I'm not doing anything in the adult business
you're
anymore.
done.
Not directing, not associated with, not shooting, not
Gotcha.
dancing. There was a time where I thought directing would carry over, but the business got so nasty with me when I left, and it was my first time realizing what it must feel like to be an athlete.
What do you
and
mean
to
by
be-
that, though, nasty?
Well, to be loyal, let's say an athlete is really loyal to their team, and then in the final hour they turn on him, and then when they're getting ready to trade him, they spit vicious rumors about him that might not be true to lower his value. When I left the business, it was this very interesting, dark dynamic of people that I had a really great, some 20-year span with, who just found one or another way to stab me in the back.
Because they resented you for leaving?
I'm not quite sure. I think they think that I feel I'm better than them because I decided to leave, but that's not really it.
But it seems
it's
like
just that I
sports
put my
kind of.
time in,
Right.
and I was ready to get out and do something else. I also had a plan for a long period of time. I also think a little bit of the animosity was created because I told no one until I wrote my letter on Facebook.
So people felt blindsided.
They did,
by
but
your
yet
departure.
it wasn't anybody. I'm an independent contractor,
Right.
and I'm my own person, and it wasn't worth it. And I knew if I did do it, things would start going wrong with the events that I still had planned, and the money that I had planned to make for that final year may have changed. As soon as I retired, my distributor threw all my product illegally on a discount sale. And cut my retirement income from that process about 90%.
Out of spite. Like, that's pure
Out of spite. Then his answer was, let's go to court. This guy's got a ton of money and loves going to court. I went through about $300,000 before I gave up.
$300,000 in a legal battle? Wow.
I was trying to fight back for my $500,000 investment in my product, which he would not return to me. So I ended up having to remaster it from my website. I ended up having to take these losses upon losses upon losses. And it was like, dude, I've known you since you lived in Pennsylvania before you went to LA to get in the business.
But that's such a kick-ass thing that you're able to like recoup your shit and like, because right now you are doing other shit. Like you wrote a book, you're hustling that, you know what I mean? So it's like you've kind of crossed over into a more mainstream
And I've
thing.
had my sports show on Sirius for 2 years now. And
Right.
I do 2 shows on Sirius. The new one I've been doing for about 6 months. And my other show I've been on for 2 years. So I already had a little plan. And I was already plotting towards my plan. But I just did not want anybody's opinions to get in my way.
Of course.
The opinions that mattered were the ones of my real friends.
Right.
Who I was saying, like, I'm ready. I don't fit in anymore. This is starting to become negative. I'm scared when I'm on the road. Bad things are happening. People are bringing guns into strip clubs. Like,
Are they?
Yeah, there's a lot of crime. I mean, think about it. A strip club is a place with an unbelievable amount of money, with not enough security, tons of access. As simple as someone going to take the trash out opens a door and lets someone get in to rob the club. Like,
I honestly didn't realize that security was so lax. Like when I go to a comedy club anywhere around the city, they've got pretty tight security. Like no one's leaving without paying. You know what I mean? Like no one's coming in drunk
you know
and crazy.
what? You're right. And also the security in comedy clubs, because you're keeping the tone down, make sure that no one gets out of control.
Right.
And throughout the night, we'll ask somebody to leave if they're heckling. But at a strip club, there's a problem. It's greed. And no one cuts anyone off. So next thing you know, it's as simple as it's 1 a.m., the club is way too hype, and somebody bumps into somebody.
Have you ever been like followed home or been in a scary situation?
Excuse me for clearing my throat on
That's
the
okay.
podcast. Forgive me. I've been in many scary situations, but luckily when I went out on the road, I was able to take security with me.
Oh, lucky.
So having somebody at my hotel made me feel a lot better.
Yeah.
You know, all those things. You just got to be diligent. When I was driving to a strip club, I would drive about 45 minutes from where I lived to work. And I would always stop at a 7-Eleven on my way home, scope out that nobody was following me. You know, wouldn't just I was very aware of my situation.
That must be like, you know how news anchors, because they're looking right into the camera and some people get it into their heads that they're being spoken to. Do you know what I mean? Develop like an unhealthy fixation.
It's an unhealthy fixation.
People develop that with you too, I imagine?
Yes, and it's an interesting thing because part of me, being old school enough to remember when no one would admit to you they watched porn,
Right.
part of me feels so happy that the world is so open and comfortable to now share that, yeah, I watch porn. And so there's this part of me. But then over the past 5 years, it's turned to a stranger entitlement, more weird part where dudes are like aggressive with me. And if if I don't take a photo with them, they'll like lash out. And if I don't want to have sex with them, they'll lash out. And
How do people lash out at you?
Usually if a guy says, like, I'm sitting at a dinner table at a very nice restaurant in the city about a month ago, and a guy just came up and tapped me on the shoulder while I was eating and asked me for a photo. And I looked at him, I said, do I know you? And he goes, no. I go, okay, well, I'm eating. Like, this is not appropriate. And he's like, when I have a photo. And I'm like I said, I'm eating and I don't know you. And I made it as simple as that, trying to keep the level down at a restaurant. He looks at me and goes, well, fuck you then.
Okay.
This is common. So yeah, it's
so people feel like they have some kind of ownership of you.
Ownership is
just because
really
they've
well
seen
said.
you do your job.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's very strange because when I started, we were shooting on VHS.
Right.
It was taboo, so people would see you and they might like smile, but they'd look away. And it was like you could have this awesome double life where you're like this rock star, porn star, but then you're like walking down the street and it's totally normal. And we've lost that a little bit.
But do you think that part of us losing that, and so everybody's private life and public life being one thing, has helped? I mean, how do you explain how kind of not porny and mainstream you are right now? Do you know what I mean? Like you do the sports thing. Like I don't even, knowing your famous videos and everything, I still don't look at, like I see you as this entrepreneurial, whoever's in front of me. Do you know what I mean?
Because that's what I did. It's not who I am.
Right.
And that's the biggest difference that I think people don't understand. And it's misunderstood with athletes. You know, people only picture them playing that sport. They don't realize that maybe he does his own laundry. You know, they don't think of any other real things, you know? So yeah, that's a big misunderstanding.
What kind of personality succeeds in the porn industry? Because I read a thing that said most women who do it burn out really quick, like they last a matter of months. And I know that you've been kind of in and out of it, and hasn't been just straight through, but you seem to be like a strong person who's suited to it. It's like, who is good at that?
Well, you have to look at it just like any other business, and you have to say how many opportunities are here for me that I can take advantage of. And I think when the girls get in the business, they start shooting, and an agent can make quick money off of them and not care if their career lasts. What they'll do is they'll shoot 20 scenes a month for 3 months. So after that, they're done. Everyone's shot their first scene. Everyone's starting to think they're a little burned out because they overshot in that short period of time. When I started, we did 1 movie a month.
Okay.
We did 1 bookstore. We did 1 dance event. We did a lot of things. So I looked at it like I have 12 choices, and I want my schedule to be very balanced.
Right.
And this way, if the business shuts down for an HIV or any bad outbreak, I still have other income coming in, and I'm still doing... There's a little bit of laziness where the girls don't want to do it. And also, the agents don't train them anymore because the agents only want to book them for the jobs they're making money off of. And they don't make much money off the bookstore signings. They don't make much money off the girl dancing.
So you have to be a commodity for yourself and not to make money for other people.
And then the other biggest core value someone has to say is they have to be able to define when is work and when is free time. And I say that because it's very easy to party when you're in an environment like working at a strip club or being on set. It's very easy to be like, this is fun. I should be having a drink right now. Or
Do you party at all?
I don't.
Not at all.
I smoke weed. That's my thing.
That's
Weed,
like a
edibles,
vegetable.
That's it's natural. It's from the earth.
No, it looks like a tree.
Alcohol doesn't thrill me. I don't. I have a lot of issues with a hangover. You know, there's those 1 or 2 random nights where you have a great time and it was spontaneous and that happens.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I stick to soft alcohol. I'm
the
only
same.
beer and wine.
I'm a crier and a puker.
Yeah,
I
me
like
too.
can't handle it.
And if I don't puke, I feel even worse. So I
Yes.
almost want to puke.
I just
It's
feel like
not
emotionally and physically
pleasurable.
like shit. Agreed.
I don't know what it is.
It's
but
fun for a minute, you know what I mean? And then it catches up to me every damn time.
It's like
every
that
single
first
time
trip
I get
to the
sad.
bathroom. You look at yourself. You hate yourself.
No, I'm a poor sport of
Yeah,
drinking.
me too. It's not fun. It's not for us.
Yeah.
So don't do it.
I don't like uppers also. Like I don't like to be so crazy up.
No. You don't need to give me any cocaine or anything like that. Like that's not going to work for me. So, you know, that's got to be something really important. So I would always tell people, like club owners would say to me, have a drink with me. And I'm like, listen, my mom doesn't drink while she sells insurance. So I'm not drinking while I'm working. And that was always and there were a lot of jobs I didn't get because I wasn't fun. There were a lot of times clubs didn't have me back because...
But it wasn't because you weren't earning the money.
No,
it was just because you
I
wouldn't hang with the owner.
them because let's say...
So fuck that.
Let's divide it 50-50. Let's say 50% of the club owners are dudes that have a lot of money and really just want to fuck the girls. I'm not
Sounds
going to
about right.
fit in there.
Right.
Right? So it's a once and done for me. But when I would go to other clubs... after my 5th year of feature dancing, which was something I did for so many years, it was so cool because the club owners, that would be the week they'd take their wife and their family on vacation, would be during my booking. And nothing made me feel more like it was such a compliment because I was like, they know I'm going to show up. They know I'm not going to be wasted. They know I'm not going to be late. I've never missed a show my whole career.
Damn,
never
girl.
once. Never canceled. There was one gig in Montreal I canceled, and it was over the club not getting me a work visa. I didn't want to be stopped at customs. That was my thing. And if you didn't do it right, I couldn't go. But other than that, I never canceled a show.
So that's so kick-ass of you.
Yeah.
Are you, so I know you came first, but like when people look at Amber Rose, for example, who's like really transitioned from not just stripping to mainstream, but like really socially and almost politically, do you know what I mean? Like she does her slut walk and she's a feminist icon at this point.
I got it.
And no one gives a shit about her. In fact, that's empowering her.
Exactly.
Are you like, how do you see yourself relative to that?
You know, I see myself a lot more like two different people. So my business and my reality of what I've done on set and the life that I've lived and the wonderful adventures I've taken are one thing. But in my life, I like to be kind of conservative and boring. And so I'm not that outspoken. I'm not that like, I don't talk about my sexcapades. I don't give names. I'm not that outward. I don't let people see me in public with a guy that I'm dating. You know, like I've just kept my personal values and self.
So that's like sacred to you.
It's
the
sacred
really
to
private
me.
stuff.
The really private stuff is sacred to me. Who I'm really having sex with is sacred to me.
Can I also ask you, is your private sex life more vanilla than people would think?
Oh my God,
Given
yes.
that it is? Because I know for me personally, like since I've always had to keep it together in public at work, when I am having sex, I'm kind of the opposite. I'm like, you do all the work. Like I'm really, like I'll let somebody else take charge, which in my normal life would not fly to have a man just tell me what to do like that. Do you know what I mean?
Totally know what you mean. Yeah, you're the first person that ever called that in
Really?
all the interviews I've ever done.
No kidding.
Yeah, I mean, I like it on a bed because I never got to have sex on a bed. It was
It's
always like a
comfortable
super
that way.
hard surface.
Yeah.
I like the lights not bright because I am self-conscious and I want it to be a romance. I want to check the lighting. I want some candles going. I like it to be soft. I like a lot of kissing. I never got, on set we're always open for the camera. And so here you are, you're not getting to be intimate. And then I realized in my personal life, when a guy could put his arms all the way around me and touch me with both hands, it became the most erotic feeling I ever felt. And it kind of like the industry toned down my sexual desires so much to being this like vanilla.
That's that. I mean, but it makes perfect sense.
Called that. I would never have outwardly just admit that.
Really?
Never.
No kidding.
But
I got the
probably
scoop.
good that I did because maybe it'll help people understand that they don't want to be with me because I'm boring. Because I do tell people sometimes, like, I'm telling you, you're not going to get what you think. Like, it's
with
not
women
going to be like that.
especially, there's always this dichotomy between how kick-ass you got to be all the time to get shit done and have your career, and then in private, like you can't always be that person. Nor do you want. Like, it makes it sexy to be the opposite of what people thought you were publicly. Do you know what I mean? That's the novelty.
Private. It's your intimacy. Exactly. Great question.
Oh,
Great
thanks, Lisa.
observation. I'm almost blushing.
But you're not blushing. Just so people know, you ain't blushing.
It's just funny to like, yep, that's me.
So who do you date? Like, I mean, you don't have to name names, obviously, but who do you gravitate towards?
I try to stay with people that I'm not afraid of and that won't try and kill me or
Fair
get
enough.
obsessive with me. So I stick in the world of like athletes and entertainers because they have more to lose than me. And most of them, it's risky just being seen with me or being around with me. So it becomes this very cautious, private, respectful relationship. And so it's kept me entertained. Although now that I've wound down this year and I finished my book and I'm in this incredible nesting phase and I'm loving like my little get-togethers with you guys and my one night out a month at New York Comedy Club. That's my one night out a month and I look forward to it so much.
Oh, I caught you on your one night out.
Yeah, because when I met Emilio, I'm like, Emilio, I'm afraid of not being on stage. I've been on stage my whole life.
Yeah.
Can I do this one night a month? Like I just asked him for a job.
What's your show?
Paid or Pain. I host with Jay Nog.
Oh, that's what I was. So that was a Halloween edition that I saw.
It was. And I love doing it.
You seem super comfortable.
Love doing it. And it's just enough. It's like I'm out late. The next day I kind of sleep in. It gives me a weird purpose. But I found myself like finally craving to open up and be in a one-on-one relationship. So that's going to be kind of my next goal.
And you hadn't wanted that before?
No, and I didn't let it in my life when I was in the business. The only time I had a relationship was when I left the business in 1997 over the big HIV scare. I met my husband. We were together for 7 years. I wasn't with any other guys, and I didn't shoot any scenes during that time. And when we got divorced, and I slowly got back in the business as an agent and then started shooting scenes again, I promised myself that I wouldn't make my life complicated. I don't want to have sex with somebody that I love and then go on set and have sex with other people. And then I don't want to come home and risk giving him an STD or
Fair
a cold
enough.
or a germ.
Yep.
I also don't want to be risking bringing this, just, you know.
Yeah, of course.
So I said, when you retire, you can reevaluate. I'm not opposed to getting married again. I'm not opposed to being in a one-on-one relationship. I have seen everything else.
That's a thing of like it sounds like not just respecting somebody else, but for yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
respecting just you. And because that is, yes, of course, ideally you don't want to give your partner anything and have him
Right.
jealous and all of that. But for you
For
personally,
me, even when I would start hanging out with somebody and I would like them and we would have like plans for Friday, but we're just hanging out.
Right.
And I'm on set on Thursday and he'd text me, I'd be like, oh, God, I don't want him texting me when I'm on set. I don't want to text him back and tell him I'm on set because then he's thinking about what I'm doing and that I'm going to see him the next night. It was all in my head, but it kept me very focused on my career.
and that's a distraction also, feeling like there's some kind of like inherent dishonesty in what you're saying. Not because you're a liar, but because you can't always just be like, hey, 2 dicks in me, be right back.
Got to go do a DP, be right back. Let me hit you after. Don't worry about it, be fine.
How do you recover from having stuff in your butt? Like, doesn't that hurt a lot? Because it hurts
You know what?
me.
It took me a long time, girl.
Do you
A
ice it
long
ever?
time.
That's a real question.
You know what? It's just so you know, it's not for everyone's body.
I know,
And
it's certainly
that's-
not for
and
mine.
that's what some people have to realize.
I'm
Now, I
jealous
didn't
of
get
it, though.
into it till I was in my 30s. Mm-hmm. In my 20s, none of the contract girls shot anal. You know, everything was so soft-core then. They didn't want the contract girl doing anal.
You think it's harder now to get into it because you have to do all this
Girls
crazy
do
shit?
so much in the beginning, and I think that they're just doing it because, and the crazy shit is,
Mm-hmm.
now the girls are doing like anal for like an extra $200.
Ooh, that seems like not enough for your
like,
butt.
Like I waited to do anal till it was like many thousands of dollars.
Right.
You know what I
Good
mean?
for
And then I
you.
got many thousands of dollars more each time I shot it versus a boy-girl scene. So we're giving it away so quickly. Then they want the extra 200, and they're hurting their butts because they're not giving it time to heal. You know, I learned about my diet. I learned about stretching. I would drive to set with a butt plug in, and it would make me kind
Smart.
of giggle the whole way because I'd be in traffic, and I'm like, all right, I'm on the 101. You know, I'm Porn Valley.
Yeah, right.
Got a butt plug in. On my way home, I'm going to be stopping at Carl's Jr. because I haven't eaten for a fucking day and a half.
It's like a pacifier,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
soothing for you.
and I also had to work with guys that I liked.
Yeah.
They knew how to loosen me up. We would usually do stills first and kind of start to loosen me up a little bit, then go into the scene, then go back and do more stills.
Did you ever have an experience where you felt like someone was kind of disrespecting you while you guys were working together?
Never with anal because I had to get to know them so well before I would even take that chance with them. But there were a couple times where I realized it wasn't about me. It was about that these guys work 20 to 25 days a month, and maybe they worked with a bunch of really lousy girls that week, and they're just kind of being bossy with me, and I would have to stop and be like, yo, I'm not that girl. I've been doing this longer than you have. Let's relax. But it was never really... Guys feared me more than anything, and the new guys had a really hard time
Like were
working with me.
intimidated by you mean?
They all wanted to sign up to work with me, but 9 out of 10 times the new guy couldn't even get his dick up, or he'd get it up and fail, or he'd pop in 30 seconds.
Oh, shit.
And my deal would be with the director, if you're asking me to work with someone new because it's important to your series, I
Right.
get paid whether the scene happens or not.
Good for you.
'Cause so you know, no one gets paid if the scene doesn't happen.
So you could just like have your butt all ready to go and then be canceled, and that's the end of that.
I wouldn't do an anal scene with a new guy, so that would just be for a regular boy-girl scene.
Right. Do you think that porn has a race problem? Because did you read that?
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, of course it does. It's never going to allow the girl. It is the most old school business in the world.
That's so
It is-
ironic.
it
People
is
wouldn't think that.
It's very mob mentality.
Mm-hmm.
It's still very shady. There's a lot of legitimacy, but there's a ton of illegitimacy. And it starts with how they treat the women. In the 90s, the women were treated like gold. We were treated like there would be no business if it wasn't for you guys. We love you guys. You know,
Which there wouldn't.
The men had to strip us gracefully, and they were just respectful to us. And it was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
this
yeah.
art of this dance, and it was just beautiful. And then the internet happened, and this thirst, this demand for content, it just became like these people were no longer people, and we're just pushing through this product. And it's become, they treat the women a lot worse.
Well, there's also
of
like a
course
15 minutes of
next in
fame
line
aspect,
is
right?
going to be race.
Right.
You know, and there's all kinds of issues with race. And I remember I wanted to do a duo in the 90s called Two Flavors. And it was with me with this black girl from Dallas named Donna, who was just so beautiful. And I thought she was a great dancer. I thought this would be super fun. I remember going to my dance agent. He said, "You are never going to book that show. No one has ever booked a black feature." And I'm like,
Ever?
what are you talking? Finally, I think there's 2 or 3 girls that get events sometimes, like Misty Stone. Maybe Cinnamon Love did in her day, but no.
The porn industry is like my Jewish parents. They're like, it's nice in theory, but you can have your friends outside of here.
But when I first started dancing, if you didn't have blonde hair and big boobs, no one was going to hire you. And when I first got in the business, Hustler had never had a brunette on the cover. So it was like, we're still living in the past in that business in so many ways. But race is, yes, I mean, there's so many things that I wish someone would govern because the business makes enough money that politics should get involved and try and grab some of it. And one of the things is the agents get the girls more money to shoot scenes that are interracial.
Yeah, that's what I read.
And when I shot interracial, I would tell the girl, I can't do it legitimately because it's against the law.
Wait, what? What does that mean? What do you mean it's against the law?
Well, I'm not going to pay you more for a scene because of the guy's color of his skin. Mm-hmm. I'm not taking that chance as a company owner. I know better than that. I wouldn't pay. Why am I paying a white person more than a black person? I'm not doing that.
So you mean the white person would get more for having sex with a black person,
yes,
but not vice versa?
Not vice versa at all.
What is this, 1,000 years ago?
Not
that
vice
seems
versa
so
at all.
crazy.
And
I
the
thought that you
agents-
meant both people get paid more for doing that scene.
No, the girl would call. I'd be booking an interracial movie with beautiful black men that I love. And I would call the girl's agent. Well, she wants $500 more for that scene. I'm like, motherfucker, listen, yo. We have some shit in this country called affirmative action. Like, you need to get your shit together. I'm either going to give your girl her fucking rate or she's not going to get the scene.
It's not even affirmative action. It's like equal pay for equal work.
Equal pay for equal work. I'm not doing that. But the business totally entertains it. And when a girl's doing her first interracial, she can get upwards of thousands of dollars more to do this scene.
Get the fuck out.
And she takes it.
Is this because it's a white male-dominated industry?
Yes, 100%.
If there were more women, would it be different? Directing and producing
we tried
and booking?
It a little bit, but you know what? I'm sad to say that I was really the only director that really had it, in for the community. And I shot mainly interracial with my series, and I gave them all as much work as I could, and I treated them all as great as I could. And my whole career, I was bringing them to shoot with photographers and people that had never shot them before and introducing them to people and trying to open the world. Mm-hmm. I actually got to host the Urban X Awards one year, and I've been nominated and won many awards in that community because it was so important to me. Something that I witnessed in high school that changed me so much was the merging of our schools, and we merged. And I grew up with one Asian person in my whole school.
Well, isn't Eastern Pennsylvania very rural?
Yeah, and then 10th grade, we're merging schools, and it was just this huge race of cultures, and I loved it because I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. We have some culture, we have different people.
Right.
And, I felt like I really fit in with them more than I fit in with this purely white, judgmental, not open-minded group of people that I had been raised with up until that moment. So being in the business gave me that same feeling of like, all right, I'm going to help as much as I can.
That old school mentality is so shocking, though. But it seemed like maybe that's in line with the, you preferring more kind of calm, vanilla, intimate sex rather than the crazy shit that you do because it's a novelty and a contrast. So maybe, do you think it's because porn is already so kind of out there relative to the mainstream because most people aren't going to fuck on camera, that the business behind it's more traditional?
No, I think it's because the industry is able to control what is put out there.
Okay.
And so the product that is put out there sells really well. My interracial sold better than anything else. Mm-hmm. But the companies that are willing to do it, they don't want to do too much of it because they don't want it to compete against itself. They're still tapping into it being a very unique market. It's hard to find interracial on the internet. It's hard to find. But
you think the competition would be good for people, like create a better product and have better fresh talent coming in all the time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, not the case at all. And talent come in and starve. So a black male performer might get 5 scenes a month compared to a white male performer who's getting 25. So when the influx comes in, there's just not enough work for them to stay in the business. So
that's sad.
I know.
It's sad to not be able to see yourself represented in fucking. Do you know what I mean?
Not only gangbangs were interracial, and I'm very proud of that fact.
Good for you.
Black men.
Is that do you normally date? Do you have a type? Do you date white guys, black guys, Asian guys?
I don't have a type at all, but for some reason I do lean more towards black men. I was married to a very white guy. As a matter of fact, my friends called him Wonder Bread White Mike because they were like, he is you like black men. He is so white. But there's just... it's just a draw that I have. It's a sexual attraction. It's
Fair
an
enough.
understanding. I think it's a lot of me feeling like I was an outcast, being younger, and feeling more like I fit in. I'm safer. It's interesting. I've never been disrespected by a black man in my entire life.
professionally, personally, anything.
Never.
Yeah, but
Professionally, at a nightclub, at a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
No black man has ever grabbed me for a photo and been rude to me and said, fuck you to my face.
That's
ever,
a white thing?
Ever once.
What?
Ever once. And I think deep down inside, that fact that I have no fear of that culture at all. And I fear the average white man who's just super aggressive, super entitled, has the feeling of maybe a legal team behind him or I can get away with this. And that has run wild. So at a strip club, never been disrespected, never anywhere. Is that unbelievable? Personally,
well,
never.
here's the thing. I mean, I obviously grew up in Pennsylvania, but I've lived here since I was 18. So I've been here for like 11 years. And then just living in New York, it's not that I didn't have black friends growing up, but being here, it's like you cannot really distinguish like that between people on the basis of race at all. You're stupid to do it in New York. Do you know what I mean? Because you never really know who you're talking to.
And it's so great to be in such a mass culture environment where the excitement is being in the neutral zone.
Yes.
I'm in the neutral zone. You're in the neutral zone. We're all in the neutral
It
zone.
strips away all that stuff that is between you in a more like suburban area where people are very like they don't get behind the upfront stuff. Do you know what I mean? Because they have a physical, I think, geographic distance. Do you know
I
what
agree
mean?
with 100%
when you don't
geographic
live
distance.
this close to people who are a different skin color than you, you can just assume about them and then be polite and never talk to them.
Exactly. You don't even go to the same market because your supermarket's over here and there's over here. It's a community thing for sure.
And like your neighbors, like literally your neighbors, you don't have to talk to.
Exactly. You got it.
Okay, so another question is, who's your fan? Like, who is your diehard fan that's like the most attracted to you? Do you know what I mean? Like professionally and your whole persona? Is that a specific type of person? I don't mean like white or black. I just mean like who is that dude or woman?
I think my fan, now that I've narrowed it down, because, you know, some great things happen, like Twitter invented that mute button where you can still have people follow you. And now I love my timeline because it's really, at any moment I can turn it on. It's somebody I want to talk to. I mean, I do my daily more muting, and now I've engaged with this group of people who know that I want the conversation to be positive, that yes, we can have some banter. There's times where I'll throw something out there and somebody will write me something back and I will write back to them. I respect that your opinion is different than mine because we're all allowed to have different opinions.
Sure.
Let me present it to you this way and you be objective and get back to me this way. So I do engage on that level. I ignore, of course, if your Avi is a penis, I'm fucking out. You're muted.
What do people say to you that's so out of line though? Like what's the kind of thing that will get you blocked or muted?
Normally, do you want to fuck? Your parents must be so proud of you. I hope you die of AIDS. Those are my common, a couple hundred a day of those.
Is that really hundreds a day?
And because I've done a lot of interracial, I get a lot.
Is that like a Christian thing? Is that a religious thing? Of people like you're going to go to hell?
I don't.
Or is that just people's
Twitter
hatred?
Has made me so such a strong person because now I can look at it like there's a new one that's happening to me, which I'm kind of loving.
Okay.
I tweet out the link to my book on Amazon every day because it just makes me excited to see it. And when I tweet it out, I get a bunch of responses back like, this fucking bitch wrote a book. And as I read it, I laugh my ass off and I go, yeah, to myself. I go, can you fucking believe it? And I've learned how to look at the shit they say, process it the way I want to process it.
But some insults are the best. Like, that's the shit that you should retweet, because, like,
Sometimes
yes, this bitch wrote a book.
Yeah. Sometimes I retweet. But sometimes I go onto their timeline and I look and I just see they spend all their days saying horrible things to other people.
Yep.
That's when I just mute you right away.
That's the trick, isn't it? If you look at
Always
their
look at
timeline
their
and they have
timeline.
like 5 followers and they're following all these people and it's all shit talking, you're
All
like,
shit talking.
this is what you do.
We're done
You're
here.
a hateful racist.
You're hateful. Yeah. There's just no time for that. And the fact that people are willing to actually not only put the thought in their head, but then type it and then send it out into the world really shows me that that evil is within you, that you think it's appropriate to express such a venomous, nasty
And you're
thing.
also getting something out of it. Because when I put something out there, it's for me more so than anybody else. You know what I mean? It makes me feel good. So if that's what makes you feel
That's
good,
scary.
it speaks to your character.
And that's why I want to mute them because you don't need to be reminded daily the world we're living in is as insane as it is.
And also blocking someone gives them too much power, don't
when
you think?
When you block, they just start a million more accounts. I've had people block and then try and every morning when I wake up, I have about 100 messages from Instagram, Twitter, Facebook about me trying to change my password. So someone knows when I'm sleeping and then just tries hacking into my shit all fucking night long, right?
What a fucking nightmare for you.
So, I'm used to it. I change my passwords all the time. I'm super fucking anal about my computers and logging on places. places. Like, but that makes me realize, like, wow, there's this much energy out there going into this. So I'm not going to block a person if I'm afraid of them because they're just going to put that much energy into spamming.
Right. That, and also it's so interactive. Like they see that they've been blocked, and it gives them an incentive to get it.
So
it's like a
furious.
challenge. You know what I mean? Whereas muting is so powerful for you because they're just screaming into nothing.
I know.
Not even realizing.
The day that button was on there, and I went and looked up what it meant, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" To me, this is more valuable than the man on the moon.
Yeah.
More valuable because Instagram.
Well, the man on the moon is useless.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Man, Instagram, you wake up in the morning, you delete all your nasty comments, and then Facebook, you go and you delete all your nasty comments. But Twitter, they're stuck there, and so I like that mute button.
That's nice. That's got to feel good for you.
It does.
You know what's funny? I'm talking to you, and we have like different professional histories. Obviously, I've never done anything as I don't know, kind of alt, as having sex on camera. But my personal life is really different because me and Kurt do like an open relationship thing, which sounds like you would not be into that at all.
I was open when I was married.
Is that
I didn't
true?
have sex with guys, but we brought a lot of other girls into our life, and we had a lot of couple interaction. But it was just the guys did not mess with the other girls, and it was a fun time.
Are you into girls? Do you date women?
I am, and it's something that I would consider, but it is something that complicates a serious relationship later. So both people have to be at the same mindset. For me,
between you and a dude, or you and another woman?
Between me and a dude, if we brought another woman in. I don't know about me dating another woman because I feel like if I'm finally going to sacrifice my space, here's the thing I want. I want a dude that's at least tall and scary enough that people will stop fucking with me. So like that's kind of like a girl's not going to do that for me. So the whole purpose of the compromise is void.
Interesting.
I'm really looking for the dude to be like, I just want to just tuck in and walk down the street next to somebody where people look at him and think before they fucking harass me.
That's charming. I feel like that too. Also, though, like Kurt's a big dude.
And exactly.
I always feel like I can put it out of my mind when I'm walking around with him at night.
Cattle called. If you were out with another girlfriend, you're cattle called.
I don't have to be so. You're as a girl, you're just from a young age. You're hyper aware of who's around you and what's happening around you. Even like you can't control it. It's like you're always checking your corners, and when you park, you got to be careful, and nobody's under your you're so forever from when you're a kid.
And when you can let that go and take a walk, it's just a different level.
It is like having a bodyguard with you almost. You know what I mean? Except he has more incentive to keep you safe because like you guys are fucking.
I know. It's fantastic. Protect that investment.
That's right. Yeah. And I mean, it's just like, if people want to start shit with him, that's like hilarious.
Right.
Go be my fucking guest.
Right.
Let me just observe this.
But for the most part, once you're walking with a dude, you get the hall pass.
Yeah.
And they stop cattle calling you and doing all that stupid shit.
Well, you know what? I've stopped. Before I was dating Kurt, so I lost my virginity to Kurt at 21, and we've been dating ever since, which is kind of why we do the open relationship.
Sure,
because I'm
you're
like
experiencing your life right now.
Well, what am I gonna just never have those experiences in my 20s ever?
And you know what? As
I
a girl
love him.
your age in the city, you're not going to trust random people in your apartment.
That's right.
You're not going to want to go to their apartment. That's why Set provided a safe place for me to explore my sexuality and go to a director and say, I want to try this. I could never find 3 dudes out and then decide, do I feel safe with these 3 dudes in my house? They're strangers. How's this happening? I
don't pick up men. I don't, because that is risky. I go by dick recs alone. If somebody is like, this guy's a great lay and we're very casual and here you go, I highly recommend, or a friend of a friend who's been vetted kind of. And she's like, this is not a piece of shit. This is a person I know.
Exactly.
I'll take that
and
under
it stays
advisement.
within a circle that's very comfortable and safe.
Yeah. That's right. But oh my God, I was like, I forgot my actual.
You were 21 when you lost your virginity to Kurt.
Right.
And now you're having an open relationship, and this is why you guys are doing it, because it's helping you explore.
Oh, okay. So my question was, thank you. Okay, I'm back on track.
Reel it back. Reel it back.
You are a born performer.
Thank you.
So my question was, before a girl really settles down with the one she's going to be with forever, this is a general question for anybody, what sexual experiences do you think someone should have had, women specifically, before they just are with one person?
Well, I don't think it's even a matter, really, because if she meets the right person, she should be able to explain to him that she wants to try these things. And even if it's not an open relationship, if she wasn't there, it's a relationship isn't a trade-off for a different style of sex. A relationship is finding someone sexually compatible with you. Even if I got married and I didn't want to bring other people into my life, but I was like, okay, we're going on vacation. This is a great time. We'll never see this girl again. Let's do this. I would do that, because now I'm providing him with an experience for something that we can enjoy, and I don't have to worry about feeling insecure in my hometown that this might come too close to my world.
Definitely. But you also know what you like and don't like from experience, just from living your life and having experience. So
But I think if a girl finds that she like wants to try anal,
Yeah.
maybe she'd be more comfortable if it was a guy she trusted rather than a guy she's dating. You know, some things girls save because they're the fear factor.
Fair enough.
So different being a girl. We can't explore freely like dudes can.
That's right. And also it's like work finding a dick that you're compatible with. Like, and I don't like, that's funny, but I don't even mean it as a joke. You know what I mean? Cause like with me and Kurt, it just took a while to like figure out how to make that work. And then now when I meet someone that I like and I'm into and like the whole thing's been explained and I'm in a relationship, blah, blah, blah. And he's got like a very average size to a little bit smaller than average size wiener. I'm so in. Do you know what I mean?
Body size is a big part of what your fit is. And when I would book girls, I would ask them, like, do you have any issues? Some guys have a curve. You know, is this guy not going to work with you because he has a curve? Like, that can really affect a girl of your size, especially.
It's true. I'm not that
I
elastic.
have never had a vagina issue. She can handle anything. I've been with Mandingo. I also took Mandingo anal.
right.
You know, you were there for that Q&A.
Yep.
Luckily, I have always been up for the challenge. You know, when I was writing I was going to write, but I didn't. I was going to dedicate my book to my vagina just because she's my business. I was going to
That's
put
a trooper, yeah.
my business partner, my vagina. But I was like, it's in poor taste if they open the book and are already disgusted with me. So no, I'm not going to do that. I was so worried about what everybody was going to think of me when they started reading my book. So
Right.
yeah, I've not had that problem, but I do understand it. What's even crazier is I've met girls on set that will tell me anal sex is easier for them than vaginal sex.
That
And I'm
blows
like,
my mind.
It blows. Like, what are you telling me? Like, how does this possible?
They're just,
Anatomy.
that's how that works,
Just
huh?
anatomy.
That's
Just
fascinating.
anatomy.
I've always
It's a
been
smaller
jealous
frame
of girls
person.
who can have anal sex, period. Like, I'm really, like, it's like we've gone there with trepidation. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's been like this much, and then I'm like, nope, I'm done. This isn't going to happen.
So you know this, couple things. Relax your jaw is the first thing because your jaw is connected to the muscles that surround your anus.
Okay.
So when you're tense and you clench your jaw, that's the absolute worst thing you should do. So you always got to remember, I would remember to drop my jaw, breathe through my mouth, not my nose, just breathing through my mouth.
Okay.
Another thing is, once you get the first knuckle in, which is the hardest part, it's home free.
Really?
But it's just most people can never get it past there. So if I were you, have you tried a butt plug yet?
I have not had no success. I'm like,
Okay.
it's the same phenomenon where I'm like, yeah, that's not going to work.
So you smoke weed?
Yeah, sure, all the time.
So smoking weed and a muscle relaxer was how I trained myself to start using a butt plug.
That's a good idea.
Was just because I was actually mentally relaxed enough to do it, and I did it alone. You know, and I just wanted to see how does it feel when it's a good time to do it or not a good time to do it. Do I
you gotta
feel what it
prep.
feels like when it's, prepping and,
Yeah.
and checking to make sure I wasn't tearing anything and then understanding it. And then when you get it in, I was like, wow, that's fascinating how once you're past that first half an inch, it's not a non-issue. But getting it and when I would do scenes, there's some guys that like to pull all the way out and go all the way back in. So before the scene would start, I'm like, do not be going all the way out and all the way
That
back in.
sounds
Because
rough.
even as a performer who got good at it, I don't want to feel that first quarter inch every time. That
I
ruins the
see.
pleasure for me. That's when my mind goes, I can't do it. Even though I know I can do it. I will go, can't do it. Might start
cringe
sweating.
when I see
I'd
it in
start
videos.
Sweating. Yep. But it's just about, and so the butt plug
It's like
will
you can
help
almost feel, you're like, ooh, girl, that must suck.
And also, you have to stick with silicone lube because silicone lube is gonna coat the surface of your skin and help you and prevent you
As opposed to
by
water-based.
tearing, as opposed to water based. You don't want to use silicone in the vagina because it can give you yeast infection and bacteria
that
infections.
right? Oh, that's
'cause it's
just for
not
the butt.
Just for the butt.
That's good advice.
Some girls do use it, but it's just for the butt.
Okay.
So, you know what? I'm going to put a little kit for you two together. And have you ever watched Nina Hartley's instructional videos on anal sex?
I haven't. Is that worth watching?
She is one of my favorite women in the industry. And
Really?
if she ever comes to the city, I'm going to make sure you guys connect so you can have her on your show.
Yes. Oh,
She's
that would
a
be
living
amazing.
legend. She's in her mid-50s. She's still shooting. She does these incredible documentaries and sexpert videos, and they're really, really good. And I've recommended them to a lot of my friends who are wanting to try something but not able to get past that first hump. And so that's what I'll put a little basket together for you guys for Christmas.
Thank you. That's a very thoughtful gift.
You'll love it.
Okay, so here's another question. Out of curiosity, do performers ever like really come on camera, or is it just professional? Like I'm gonna show you how much I'm into it, and then let's get out.
Well, of course the guy does, and if he doesn't, it's a huge issue.
That's like
so
a given,
we need
right?
that,
Right.
Otherwise, we bust out the pina colada mix, and it doesn't always look so real. It's a very funny process. And as the girl,
Is that the super soaker?
This is the super soaker. You have to, they have like these fake little pumps that make it look like it's coming right on the angle of the camera. As a girl, you know what's happening, and you know the camera's on your face, and all you're doing is trying not to laugh. So it's pretty different. But as a woman myself, I made the experience a sexual experience, so I always came on set.
Good for you.
And it was something that I was actually physically doing that I didn't want to mentally disconnect from it. And I didn't shoot 20 times a month ever, so I wasn't ever burned out of it. And I was at a really sexually active part of my life where I was being stimulated by what I was getting of the gratification of the industry and my fans and meeting people on the road. And it kind of inspired me to want to do my scenes and want to really get into my scenes. And really, I also always loved knowing that the partners I worked with knew it was going to be an easy day, that I was going to work just as hard as they were. I was going to make sure they were hard. I wasn't going to I wasn't going to make it awkward in any way, shape, or form.
That
And
you're a
I was going to
professional.
enjoy it. And they want to feel like they're satisfying a woman.
That's so, I know you're not political per se, but that's super feminist to hear.
Yeah.
That just is that like you are in control the whole time, and not just in control of the professional situation, but like your own experience of it.
And I used to tell the girls, like, when you get on set is a great time to sit with your performer and have a one-on-one conversation. What do you like? What don't you like? I always established a system where we each tap each other twice if we wanted to stop anything. This way we didn't have to stop shooting.
Right.
We didn't have to alert the director. It's just that wasn't comfortable or moved me over a little bit. And it was a little code, and that's you protecting yourself, making sure the
course.
product is great and making sure you're comfortable with your partner.
Yeah, right. And I think people take it for granted that the man's going to have, it's just going to be easier for him and
Right.
more fun automatically, but
And it's not, because some of the girls are not good.
that's it. If you're not, like, it can't just be divorced from your emotional experience of it. I mean,
Completely.
there's still a human being in front of you.
There's girls that would walk on set when I was producing, and they'd say to me, my new boyfriend doesn't want me to kiss on set anymore. And for some of the guys, kissing is what maybe gets them going.
Right.
So right away, you've got to find a way to get this guy to get this out of his head that this is an issue. And so the girls that started to come in and just become what I call paycheck performers, they were just working to get paid.
Right.
They were never intimate. And these are why there's so many girls that come and go from the business.
You
Because
can
there's
also
nothing
kind of
real
tell.
about. You can totally tell.
When you're watching
There's
people, you can
much
see who has
bad
chemistry.
porn.
Yes.
There's like the girl who you look at her and she's like, all she needs to add is chewing gum because she's
Right.
so not present in the
She
moment.
might as well be texting.
She's like, and what I like to do with my friends is I like to play a bunch of really bad porn at like a party. Everyone's got some bongs out. We're having a great time.
Right.
And I turn music on and I commentate.
Okay.
And while I'm commentate, I talk about what the bored bitches think. And
You
I'm
ever
like,
watch
so,
Dave's old porn?
Yes!
Because isn't that the most genius thing?
So I'd watch and I'd say, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to make it home to stop at the dry cleaner today. Like, just fucking lame, you know? And then the guy in the background's like, oh my God, I don't think I have enough Viagra to fuck this girl. Like, this is just so brutal. And so it's just fun.
You ever watch the really engrossing, like, old 70s porn where there's a whole storyline? Like, there's
Yeah.
a whole back
Oh my
thing.
God,
And then
when
the people are, like, really interacting and getting
When
into
I
it.
first started, we would like drive to the desert an hour to a couple hours away and stay on these movie set locations where it was like an old Western and you're out and I'm like, this is a real movie set, man. This is like amazing. And now
I don't
it's like,
mind the plot.
no, it was so fun.
It's
now
so
it's like,
entertaining.
yes. And now it's like, I mean, I like the Pete's Guy thing. I like the simple
Yeah, sure.
pickups too, but it was fun.
There's something cool about watching people who seem like actual actors fuck. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what people want to get out of TV also.
right, like
You
soap
know?
operas. That's why people watch soap operas.
Totally.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like the implied
There's no
sex,
other
but then they
fulfillment
are
there.
banging.
Yeah.
And it's always something nasty. It's like
That guy
a
was your
daughter or
dad, but
something.
now you found out
Yes.
maybe you're not related, so you guys can have sex.
And
It's
they
the
get
guiding
into
light.
it. Yeah. And they don't even look like they're over it while they're doing it. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because
Yep.
you'd expect someone to be like, ugh, this is lame, but
Yeah.
like, okay, dad,
Yeah.
here you go. But like, they're really like, no, father, don't. You know what I mean? Like, they get into it and then you get into it.
Yep.
Even though it's cheesy.
It's super cheesy, but we love it.
But it's the best.
We love it.
Yeah. Do you want to answer some people's advice questions?
I definitely like to give a lot of bad advice. So
Me
yes.
too. No, shitty advice is our hallmark here on Crass to Mouth.
I would really like to. Let's see what the questions are. What do the
Okay.
people need?
So, okay, there's a guy named John. Hello, John. And John has actually written in before, but his question is, which is, I'm kind of paraphrasing here also, how okay, so he's confessed his attraction to a few women, okay, platonic female friends, and he seems like a nice guy, and has been kind of shut down, and that's totally relatable, and I've also been guilty of like a little bit distancing myself from someone who's confessed an attraction to me.
Sure.
So how can a man go about telling his platonic female friend respectfully that he's into her without it killing the relationship?
I think it's kind of something that has to be defined at the very beginning of the relationship. It's very different if people become friends and then as their friendship gets closer, maybe they start making a little arm contact when they're at the bar together. If it grows organically both ways, it's one thing.
And you can kind of feel it.
Right. And you got to let that happen. If it doesn't, I'm sorry, but a friend is more important than a lover. So you have to take that friendship over making it jaded. I know it's happened to me where a year in, a guy finally says something to me and then I have to think to myself, so all this time you were being nice to me just to maybe eventually have sex with me? So you have to keep those lines very different. Like I have guy friends that I would never have sex with. And we would never go there. We've had the conversation at the beginning, like we're friends. And then I've had guy friends who I only have sex with them. We're not really friends. Like we're not hanging out. There has to be a difference because women have had this happen more times and it might not be John that pushes the girl over, and hopefully the woman's mature enough to say, it all depends where her headset is too, because she hopefully is single. There's hopefully nothing he's breaking up. But if she
hopefully she's not a cunt. Like some people
hopefully
are
she's
just
able
not
to
respectful
say,
of
I'm
people's
flattered
feelings.
by this.
Yeah.
It does make me feel a little uncomfortable, and I'd like to put our relationship back in a very different place.
And I don't John seems like a really nice guy. John, you seem like a great guy. And so I don't feel like he's necessarily stringing people along. And a lot of guys I know are not stringing a woman along. But then as a girl, there's something a little bit off-putting about this proclamation, that comes out like, I trusted you.
Yeah.
I kind of trusted, I can let my hair down.
Not gender based. Like there's people where I've said to them,
And now I
I've
have to
never
be aware
looked
of that.
at you like this,
Right.
I never worried about what top I was wearing, what jeans I was wearing.
Right.
Now it's a different thing, and I want to be more covered up, and I'm more self conscious, and that's when it leaves its comfort zone.
That's right.
I do recommend to someone like John dating coaches. I think dating coaches are great.
That's a good idea.
I think you do the 3 to 6 visits. What's it going to take? You're going to learn something, and a dating coach is going to tell you what energies you should be looking for in a person to have a mutual attraction with them.
And that's a great idea because also you're not so objective about yourself. So there could be patterns in your behavior that you're not recognizing. That an outsider, and it's not, I think, whatever stigma of but I need a coach should just be out the window.
Yep.
It's so available, all these
so
resources.
available. Yeah.
That's a great idea. John, have a good time with our shitty advice.
But why not?
Yeah, no, why not?
Why not?
And also, you don't there's internet resources. So if there's nobody in your area, you can get online and find somebody.
I say the best way to try and meet people too is through friends.
Definitely.
And when you're really trying to meet someone, I tell my girlfriends 2 nights a week, you have to be dedicated to going out with a different social group. That doesn't mean you have to drink, because when you're meeting someone, I don't advise people to drink. I tell my girlfriends all the time.
Some people need it.
If it's just one drink,
as a crutch,
but
a little
if you
bit.
turn into a blind date situation where you're insane at the dinner table, then it kind of ruins it.
Right.
And that might not be who you are at all. That could just be a once a year occurrence, but now this guy's kind of done.
Right.
So, being social with different groups of people that you trust is so great too, because they're only going to introduce you to other good people.
Agreed. What about dating within the workplace?
That's a tough one.
Do you say don't shit where you eat?
I don't shit where I meet.
Yeah.
It's just too annoying. I won't even date somebody from my gym. Because
Really?
years ago, I dated a guy from the gym. Then I
have
didn't
to
want to
see
see
them
him
more
anymore.
than your
And
family.
then I was fucking I don't want to go to the gym in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So if a guy from the gym even hits on me, I say, I'm sorry. I have a no dating clause in my membership.
Also, don't hit on me when I'm at the gym. I'm disgusting. This
yeah.
isn't where I want to be. After the gym, when I've got my butt nice, then we can talk.
Yeah.
But at the gym, it's you might as well talk to me when I'm in the shower. Do you know what I mean? I'm prepping for this approach. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I've used the no habla a couple times.
Really?
Just completely act like I didn't speak English, but it doesn't really stick, but I'm trying.
Well, but you're
I could look Spanish.
You could a little
But
bit.
then they
because
realize
you've
who
got a
I am,
brunette
and they're
thing.
I've heard her speak English before.
And they're I got your number.
Shucks.
Yeah. Okay, here's another one. Ready? David asks, hey, David. Okay, so he's got an interesting situation. He has a shitty coworker, okay? Apparently, so we don't have the computer in front of us, so I apologize, David, but to paraphrase, it's somebody who doesn't pull his weight and is kind of not a cool dude. But this guy kind of connected with his sister, the coworker's sister, okay, who he's interested in. Yeah. And his question is, there was also an update, but the original question was, Should he be upfront with the sister regarding not liking the brother, the coworker? And I say no, definitely don't do that. But what do you think?
I say it's good to be objective and just survey the situation and say to someone, this is what I know. And this is when I tell people, if I had a bad situation with somebody and they ask me my advice on this person, I say, now listen, this could have just been between us and you might have a completely different outcome from the rapport that you have together. But here's the information I've gathered. Now, if in 6 months you realize this on your own, you come back to me, you're like, thank you for being honest, then it was easier for them to make the decision, not wait a year. But it's a sensitive thing because sometimes I'll tell my friends, listen, you might not agree with the relationship, but is your friend happy? Is your sister happy? Because his work attitude might be totally different than his home attitude.
But it's this coworker's sister that David is interested in the first place. So his question is
that he doesn't like.
Yes. So his question is, do I tell the girl I like that I don't like her brother who I work with?
Does his brother know at work that he doesn't like him is really the question.
Oh, that is a good question.
That's a good question.
So if it's obvious, yes, and if no?
Because let's face it, this is America. If this guy holds something that you want, which is the sister, then you got to be nice to this guy to get what you want. You know what I mean?
And if she doesn't know you, is probably going to pick team family versus team you, right?
Of course. And also, you know what? It's a shitty thing when you work with people that don't pull your weight, but the more time you waste worrying about their shit, the more you're not pulling your weight. So I always just say, like, don't throw stones if you live in a glass house. Eventually the person will get fired on their own. They'll hang themselves. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just let it happen and don't let it be part of your thought. I know it's hard. You got to fight off the thoughts sometimes, but just be like, that's not my business.
And it demonstrates maturity also. If she found out later, oh, you guys don't get along, you never told me. It's like to show that amount of self-control and respect also to not have to make that her problem is charming when she finds out. She will find out about it later.
For sure.
Okay, so there was an update because this was, I apologize, David, this was a little while ago. So he wrote back and he goes, what did I write here? This is so dramatic. So it turns out the coworker, was shit-talking him.
To the sister.
I
already thought of that.
What do we do now?
I just say you step away from the flame.
Okay.
She can't be the only one.
It's getting too hot.
Does she like him in return? We need to know that. That's a big one.
That is a big one.
But, you know, some say it's like you already know when you're getting involved with someone that they're going to have some baggage. But you just look at the baggage and not even know what else comes along and just accept it. Maybe it's time he's just like, let me let this simmer down. Either let his friend his coworker get fired. Let him, whatever's going to change, let it change.
On one hand, it's kind of nice to see somebody shit up front. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they're like, well, I've got this crazy, but it's all right here for you to see.
Sure.
Like, that is what attracted me. Not that he's like vicious, but attracted me to Kurt at the beginning because Kurt is such a what you see is what you get guy. Do you know what I mean? And I don't mean anything negative by that. I just mean that's who he is.
Yep.
So you have an opportunity right up front to see if I'm into it or not into it with all, like, he's very honest about the good, the bad, everything. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
And so, like, that's the same person that I'm with now.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So there's something kind of, but at the same time, if it's too much, then you're like, well, this can't be the only thing. Do you know what I mean? There's got to be, and so this is already a lot up front.
But bringing drama into the workplace is a nightmare.
That's a lot, yes. Nightmare. That professionalism issue is like such a sticking point because it's not even like they know each other from social circles. It's the work thing that's crazy, right? That's like a headache for everybody.
Yeah.
It's almost unacceptable to bring it into work.
Yeah, too much.
Isn't it though? Okay, so I think we're at about an hour and we're going to wrap up.
That was so fast.
It was so fast and it was so fun. What do you want to promote?
Let's talk about this. On December 10th, I'll have some books in hand.
Yes.
And when I get back to this city, which is going to be, I'm doing my very first signing on December 13th in Los Angeles at the Hustler store.
Ooh.
I wanted to be a part of, you know, Palin was done by Hustler. Who's nailing Palin? I love Larry Flint. He's been a big icon in my life, somebody I've admired, somebody I'm grateful for that he did what he did to make sure that I could do what I do. And so that was exciting. It's actually going to be 2 days before my official release. So people who come to that store get to get it first. Then I fly right back here to New York, and I'm going to make sure I bring you guys all hand-signed books.
Yay!
I'm really excited about it, and it's inspired me to start my second. So I've been writing.
What's your second book?
I just started writing it 2 weeks ago, and it's just going to really, I'm just really putting my thoughts on paper of the evolution of this year, you know, how much different I felt in January. You know, the first thing I did was have my boobs reduced the day after I retired. So
Congratulations.
I had set that up over the summer, and I was like, you know, I had everything so lined up, and now I've just been kind of.
Well, you just retired before the summer.
December of 2014.
Oh, it's so recent.
It'll be a year next month.
Okay.
So it's just like I have discovered so much. I've discovered a lot about people, friendships, family, myself, what I really like now, how I love only going out one night a week, and just this whole new discovery of reinventing myself. And it's been awesome.
Who's your book for?
My first book was really to answer all of the questions to the world, like how'd you get in the business? What's a business like? What's the day in a life on set? Very basic things, but things that nobody really knows, like what we do for anal and what it takes for a girl on set versus a guy on set.
That was like 9 out of my 10 questions was how do I do the butt?
How I would prepare and what it was like feature dancing. And then in my stint that I was married, I also owned and ran a day spa for 4 years. So I did also operate another business.
You're very entrepreneurial, aren't you?
I've switched around and I've tried new things and I've taken some adventures, and so I kind of put the pieces together of people wondering like where was she when she took that break, and what were her long-term relationships in the industry like, companies that I worked for and things that I did. And
is this like a tell-all or is this more kind of professionally based?
It's not necessarily a tell-all, but there's some great stories. But of course, I didn't name anybody. But there is a little grime about the business, and I'm not going to lie, I didn't have to drop names. I didn't have to take the names out because
people just know.
Well, no. I went through legal. The legal process of the book was the hardest. I had to sit on the phone with a lawyer and read it word for word because of some of the shit I said was really horrible about people. But because I worked at this one agent's office, a lot of the things that I was saying he did, I also did too because I was an agent. I was told to do them. So I was able to drop fucking major A-bombs. And my friends are already like, you better be on tactical alert with all your fucking guns and ready when you're in LA because this guy knows where I live. I'm on tactical alert. Yo, I'm so fucking ready for it to go down. My life has been threatened enough times in my career that it doesn't fear me anymore. So yeah, there's little bombs that I dropped in that book that could hurt some people, but it could also save many lives.
Good for you. That sounds like the exact kind of like gossipy with heart book that I would love to like. That seems like a very kind of everybody can read it book.
And for girls that want to get into the business, I hope young girls read it, and I at least advise them what not to do. And who not to interact with, and what their rights are. Little things like talking to a guy before a scene and telling him what you don't like. I don't like to be smacked. Tell the guy that. Don't just let the guy smack you.
Is this like your graceful exit from the adult industry? And then after this, you're like, okay, I've been there, talked about that, now I'm done?
Well, no, because I'm going to talk about it a little bit more in my book because I realized like a lot of funny things have been happening. Like I'm coming up on a year where I didn't take any antibiotics out of fear.
Yay.
You know, there are many times that I'd be on set and I would be like, this shit is fucking shady. These bitches are dirty. This fucking place is freaking me out. And so I'm doing this scene, and I'm like, as soon as I leave here, I'm driving the doctor. I'm going to tell him to give me a shot of everything. I don't even know what's in it. I don't care. And like, I did this 7-8 times a year, which is so bad for your body.
That
it's
will
so
wreck
bad
you.
for your immune system.
Yeah,
it
it
made me
is.
so sick. But I did it. And so like the other day, I was just like, haven't just done that. Like, I'm good. This is a freedom feeling. So I'm writing down now the list of things that are coming to me that are giving me excitement.
Awesome. So when's the next book coming out also? Like, do
I'm
you
not
have an
putting any
ETA?
pressure on it. You're the first person I told.
Fascinating.
But I'm sure it'll be fast. I started a new goal where I wake up every morning and I write for 3 hours.
Oh my
So
God.
I read what I wrote.
I'm like embarrassed to even hear this.
I
You're so
I just
goal-oriented.
read it in the book Willpower
Jesus
that you can
Christ.
train your creative mind to make it a business move, and you just have to make it a habit.
I'm reading a book
And I
called
was like,
Goals.
Ooh, that's a
about
great one
goals.
too. That's a
Yes.
great one
By
too.
Brian Tracy,
yes,
I think. Yeah, I'm
yes.
right at the beginning, but I'm feeling good about my goals.
Good.
Yeah.
Glad. It was a pleasure doing
It
this
was
with
such a
you.
pleasure. So your book's coming out December 10th?
Yeah, and when it comes out, I'll let you pick a chapter, and maybe I can come on and read it for some of your people.
Yes,
We
I
do a
would
little
love that
story
so
time.
much. And
we could even do it like you, somehow on the couch, cozy, like you're sleeping, and I'll be dressed up like a lady, just reading it to you in a special voice.
we should shoot something. That would be so much fun.
Wouldn't
we should
it?
talk about that.
Oh, we'll talk about that.
And to you crasturbators out there, if you guys have comments or questions for Lisa Ann for the next time around, please send this to us at crastomouth@gmail.com. You can also email officialcrastomouth@gmail.com. They are now basically the same thing.
And
any
you can
appearances?
tweet with me at The Real Lisa Ann.
Yes.
That's it.
And as always, tweet us at Crass to Mouth.
Oh, and you can always see me once a month at the New York Comedy Club.
That's right. And
December
it's a really
18th
dope show.
is my next show.
You don't always dress up as Sarah Palin. though.
No, that was just for Halloween.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
myself the rest of the time.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lisa. This was so
you.
dope.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.